We want to get back to our breaking news. This is a huge story this morning. Across the world, a fire has shut down Heathrow Airport in London.
And it's having a massive impact on travel all around the world.
Yes, joining us now is travel consultant Anita Mendiratta. And thank you so much for being here. You are in London right now. So from your perspective, I do want to know what this has been like being on the ground there. But this disruption is also supposed to last for days. So if you're sitting here in our seat in LA and maybe you're getting ready for spring break, you've got a trip to Europe coming up, what should you really be doing?
It's a great point. And again, thank you very much for having me on and for emphasizing the fact that this is a global issue, that is not just a local London issue. It's been an intense day, shall we say that, because the implications are massive. If we look at it, there's about 200,000 people that are impacted. That's one person times 200,000 times. From LAX alone, there are 6 to 8 flights a day that come across from LAX to Heathrow. So it's massive. And when in terms of the question you ask about what should people be doing, keep an eye on the airlines, keep an eye on their websites, look out for communication, and do not go to your airport until you absolutely know that you're safe to fly. Because the global ecosystem of aviation, when this occurred at 2:45 this morning here in London, when Heathrow decided they were forced to shut down because of the challenges with the fire, no airport does that wantingly, because ultimately the impact that has on passengers, on cargo, there's 4,000 tons of cargo that goes through the airport every day, and we have 16,000 homes in the area impacted. No one wants to shut an airport down. They did so, thankfully, just after the last international long-haul flight had come and right before the curfew started over Heathrow airspace.
Wow.
So they were able to mobilize the world's network to be able to say to a flight from LAX, please go back to LAX because you're not going to be able to land in Heathrow. Only the airlines can provide that critical information to travelers at this point in time.
You talked about these huge impacts. You think about people today who are, it's horrible to have a flight delayed or canceled and at some point it will be rescheduled. At this point, people don't know when they'll be able to go through Heathrow again. What rights do passengers have in a situation like this if they are impacted?
It's a very important question, because now that the shock has worn off, people are wondering what exactly happened and what are my rights. When it comes to passenger rights fall into almost 2 areas. Firstly, there's compensation. What compensation is permitted? When it is an extraordinary situation like this, where a flight is canceled because of something not related directly to the airport, so therefore the fire that cut down all of the ability for electricity supply to go through, there is not a direct responsibility of the airline unless you have travel insurance, which is separate coverage, or for instance, your credit card has the terms for ultimately for refund or for compensation. But the most important at this point in time is duty of care. And this is where the airlines are very good, because ultimately their responsibility is taking care of passengers, not just in the air, but on the ground. So when people are stuck, do they have food and drink? Do they have accommodation if they need to stay overnight? Do they have alternative transport? And that could be another flight being rebooked, or it could be by train or quite honestly, by road. So the airlines mobilize their emergency response systems, which are very well in place, very well trained, to recognize that compensation is one thing, but right now it's about compassion. And that's what we need to keep an eye on.
I just really quickly, since you're on the ground there in London, we're talking in the studio. This is one power source that has knocked out this airport. Are you hearing why didn't a backup power source kick in? Isn't there a backup power source for the second busiest airport in the world?
Indeed. Sadly, the second backup system is there, but it was also knocked out. And that's why there are many questions taking place right now about why was the second backup source so close to the first? Why failed to mobilize? What are the options? And this is where the infrastructure needs to be addressed, no question about it. And it's a warning to international airports around the world.
Yeah.
Do you have a plan B if something goes wrong? But first and foremost, let's solve the problem. 200,000 passengers, 4,000 tons of cargo, and an entire community has lost energy.
Yeah.
We need to protect those in the front line.
And this is just day one. Anita, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Really, really appreciate your insight.
Thanks for asking.